you were saying that you read The Devil's Notebook. What were your impressions on that? Huh.
uh, let me just adjust my camera real
Oh,
quick.
okay. Sorry, I thought you were ready.
No, I'm ready. I thought I was ready, and then it decided to gremlin out on me and shit. My thoughts on Devil's Notebook. I like um, that Anton DeVay wanted to delve into whatever he wanted to delve into, and that he, in my opinion, embraced the idea of the trickster,
Okay.
part of the devil. You
Very
know,
cool.
and whether it was it's an actual archetype manifested by us, or an actual being, or in my opinion, I don't think he believed in the devil himself. I don't think that he liked the idea of it, and then being a showman, he just kind of came out the right time, right? Like during the 1960s, when everybody was looking for a guru or the right path or an alternative to the Christian and Catholic ideals that were really prominent during the 1950s and before that, you know.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He did pick a great time, and I think it's kind of like I think a lot of that stuff, from what I've heard anyway, rumor has it is that when he tried to publish the Satanic Bible, that a lot of the back half, like the Enochian keys, were not there.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of the stuff on magic and ritual wasn't there, and they said this is workable, but you need to add to it. And so that's when he came out a little bit more over the top with the theatrical of the robes and the more rituals, and a lot of it they borrowed from Crowley and other stuff like that. And it's kind of like,
Well, I mean, that was John Dee, though, right? Like the Enochian angelic translations came from an occultist who worked for one of the queens of England as an
yeah,
astrologer and as an occultist, but he was a Christian occultist,
okay,
right?
I'm not too familiar with him, but yeah,
No, his stuff is similar to like a lot of the magic that seems to come from, or occult beliefs, is that stems from the Middle East. But in my opinion, that would go even further. That, like, if you look at a lot of Tibetan Buddhism, there's a lot of similarities to, especially like rituals and bells, ritual daggers, bells, tables, meditation. Some of those elements came into other beliefs as well.
I'm wondering if the theatrical aspects, like the campiness of the whole greater magic as he describes it and stuff like that, if that's really even like workable or necessary and satanic philosophy in the in
Absolutely
2020.
necessary, depending on your version of Satanism or left hand path.
That's true too, depending on your version, right? And that's
If
another
you're
question, right?
if you're an atheistic Satanist, believes in the idea of Satan being a power instead of being an actual being, like a powerful word or a imagery, you're still tapping into that shit, right? Like, in my opinion, magic stems from imagination.
See, well, yeah, I mean,
You
it's
know,
the whole psychodrama aspect. Even if you don't believe in real deities or entities that you're calling upon or drawing power from, the psychodrama effect of being able to, subconsciously
well, that's
manipulate
part of it.
archetypes and
You
suspend
need the
disbelief.
psychodrama to give you the imagination to get you into the focal point
Well, of course.
to access that information, whether that information comes from within or from an outside source, right?
Yeah, like this could be a wand, right? Or a staff or whatever. This itself doesn't have any magical abilities, but your
Well,
belief in it and
it may.
it
It
may. Yeah.
may. Why? Because you hold it all the time. You suck it on it all the time. Your energy fucking is within that fucking tool.
If you believe.
You know, in
Yeah.
a way, if you believe in psychic abilities, like psychometry, where they can read people's energies on certain objects.
Or
But
I
I
guess
think a part of it has to do with faith and belief going hand in hand with insanity, right?
there's a fine line between
There's a fine
those.
line. Because most shamans, right, were taking psychedelic substances. In fact, some of the early religions can be tied to psychedelic experience, whether it be through sleep deprivation, psychedelic fucking ingestion, or fucking, fasting, whatever, meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the word magic in itself, you know, if you put it next to imagination, is pretty damn close, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what? And Santa is also an anagram for Satan.
That's true. I don't know, man. I mean, in my belief, I could be considered left-hand path, being heathen and pagan, you know, because I'm outside of the path of, you know, what would be considered left-hand path. But I mean, I've sent you some articles. Like, it's a fairly ancient path that goes back to Hinduism. You know, whenever you see a god with his right hand up, you know, that was considered the path of the light or whatnot, right? Where the left hand path was going towards taboos, you know.
Right. Absolutely. Because you just have the right hand of God or not, you know, and it's like, then there's the other path, the left.
Yeah, but all are connected with the, you know. I mean, you look at like I was talking about this earlier. You know, there are left hand path shamans, right?
Okay. Well, I would consider most shamans to be left hand paths since they're
Well, they're
outside
nature
of
spirit.
outside
Yeah,
of
but most of
Christian.
them are guides or whatnot. They deal with lighter entities, you know, in their belief system. Where there's a Siberian shaman, you know, like people from the Russian steppes in that area, Eastern Europe, man, that practice a form of shamanism that deals with darker entities.
Hmm. Doesn't
You
surprise
know,
me. That's cool.
I think that it's valid for all sorts. What if it's time for a new path, right? What if you could combine ancient with modern, you know, um, a skepticism with critical thinking and results?
I thought that's what a lot of us are trying to do already, but
No, I
maybe
know,
not
but
all
I
the
mean,
time.
you know, do you understand what I'm saying? What if all the pieces of the puzzle uh, are already there for left hand path, right? What if they're all kind of like, you have to be the trickster and the adversary and the beast,
Yeah.
right? Or be able to go into aspects of either, or to those who swear they contact other beings and stuff, man, there's plenty of paranormal recording devices and electromagnetics, you know, scientific devices. Fuck, man, even LeVay himself, right, was known or suspected to have known how to hypnotize people or be able to use suggestion, right? Like, there was a documentary about Boyd Rice that I saw. It was done by Larry Wessel. I went to the open night. Say what you want to say about fucking his documentary, because it was kind of zany, and I can understand why Boyd Rice would fucking hate it. But there was a part of there where you got to see his experiences talking about who LeVay was as a person, and he seemed like a kind of a person that liked to fuck with people, like practical jokes, like to laugh about the absurdity of shit, you know, highly creative person, you know how to play instruments, fucking, you know, all that shit, you know. But there was parts of him that looked into like the reality of certain things that were things that worked, right? You know, there was a story I think Boyd Rice told about that every girl that he brought over to talk to meet Anton LaVey, like later that night, she don't remember half the situation talking to LaVey, but later that night she'd have a dream where she was having sex with LaVey.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I got to see the preview of that before it was released at Good Old Partridge's house in Hollywood with Larry Wessel
Yeah,
and drink Coors Light and just Toro Wessel and Good Old Partridge and Zendor LeVay and some couple other people. But yeah, it was pretty. It was long. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I thought it was cool. They ended up trimming it down a little bit. I think when they finally released it. But I remember the part with Boyd Rice. Boyd talked about like how he was always in character. You never knew if it was like the
yeah.
submarine captain. He seemed like he was. Yeah, it seemed like he would be a very interesting, fun guy to be around. You
Well,
know,
at least someone that understood how to get into acting archetypes and stuff, you know.
for sure, for sure.
For sure understood that aspect of it, for sure. Like, um, you know, and I wouldn't say that he was completely atheist, because he liked to dabble into a few things. I'm sure he dabbled into things that people would consider risque, you know, even if it didn't produce. I mean, we have a plethora of fucking ancient writers and people that have written pretty modern age, dealing with the same subject. It's not a new concept.
If you've ever heard Marco Aquino talk about LaVey, which he's got a whole book about, it's over 1,000 pages about the Church of Satan.
Yeah.
He basically says that LaVey wasn't a atheistic Satanist. Basically,
Yeah.
LaVey believed in forces greater than.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, because
Well, I'm sorry I'm making a generalization. I didn't mean to make that generalization, but a lot of people that I understand that when they talk about, but maybe it's just being skeptical. But you yourself have had weird experiences throughout your life, right? That were unexplainable, right?
Oh, for certain, yeah. I mean, I started off from the
I think it's
LaVey
better to
account.
say agnostic, right? Would be a better term for it than
Yeah, agnostic. Yeah, meaning that, yeah, basically you're not going to commit yourself to saying I know for certain that there's nothing greater than us, and there is no powers above man, because certainly there is. I mean, gravity is one power, right? If I drop this, it's going to.
well, yeah.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about more of a conscious forces, or forces with will, intent, right? Other than mechanical dropping of a lighter, right? I mean, like gravity. Is that what you're talking about as far as
I
forces
just know
go?
that there's weird shit that happens, man, and that some shit's unexplainable and some shit is science is now just trying to catch up with some of these theories and weird stuff, and that everything has a basis in some sort of, whether over exaggerated fact in some way,
Well,
at times. But
forces,
then I've
though.
also seen personal manifestation in my life that things have happened too.
Well, I think we have to divide those into supernatural phenomena or we're talking about gods, deities. You know what I'm saying? We're talking
Mm.
about those types of forces, or we're talking about supernatural
Well,
unknown
why couldn't they exist?
gods.
Yeah, why not?
They absolutely could. I'm not. I would never say for certain that there is no God, because I could say with confidence that I believe that there isn't a God as
But what if
man
belief is
is
the
written.
main thing for it? What if, according to your own belief system, you'll be able to perceive things based on that belief system? Does that necessarily mean that that person's crazy or insane?
Not
Because all it
crazy.
is a perception of your own reality, right? Like you perceive things differently than me, right?
Okay,
Some people would never like the experience you had in Arizona those 2 times, right? That was weird,
sure,
right? Like you saw the UFO, you saw the weird shadowy Spider-Man guy, right? Those are things that were weird, that were like holy shit weird, right? Like in a way, right? Like bends the entire existence of your awareness, right?
for sure. I would say that it's more supernatural phenomena than it would be as far as like forces, though. But it
Yeah.
definitely makes me question what I perceive around me as reality, when those things were not taught to us as being part of reality, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know what you were raised before you became a Satanist, but I was raised Baptist. Like half the shit that I experienced in my lifetime, in my reality, defied the teachings of the Bible. I mean, they're obviously like I'm in communication with the Dark Lords.
Nah.
You know, I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, I think that it would be interesting. There's parts of me that really wish to believe, but then I've had experiences that were with stuff that I couldn't explain on psychedelics and fucking in non-psychedelic form, just regular reality.
I,
But that's been my life. Like I wish I could share. Like all I have is stories to tell you, and it's up to you at the end to decide whether you believe it. I don't give a fuck at that end because it was my experience.
right. And ultimately, isn't the belief kind of like with Jesus, even if he never existed or isn't real as the Son of God and the Messiah and all that? If billions of people believe that it's true, it almost manifests itself as
If
being
into a
real.
reality, exactly,
Right.
you understand. That's what I'm trying to get at right now.
Right.
Whether it be a collective intelligence kind of thing, or I mean, it's the belief in fucking Jesus, right? Like comes from other myths, right? We know that. Like it was a continuation of a myth. It almost feels like proto-authoritarianism in a way, though, the way the narrative was controlled through various other myths that were very similar. You know, going all the way back to Egypt, right? You know, you have was it Osiris, the one that was ripped apart and resurrected by ISIS?
I think so. I'm not real familiar with the.
You have similarities to Persian, like um, you know, I mean, even the devil himself could be taken from Persian mythology, right?
Yeah.
In Persian monotheism, the idea of Ahriman,
Okay.
you know, the shadow of Mithras, you know. So it's a far, it's as long as men have existed, the idea of light and dark have always been there, polarizing. You know, I don't think it's as simple as it is. But
What's interesting is how religion came about from the beginning. From the beginning of the time when we, you know, if you believe in evolution as if we crawled out of the jungle with the rest of the monkeys, which I believe we did to some degree, and like how, at what point did we create gods? Do we? I like the idea that maybe we came outside of the jungle and gazed upon the stars and started to look that there's more outside of these trees and started to think that these have to be gods and try to explain nature, like why does it rain? Because it's somebody else's will.
well, yeah, that's a simplistic kind of simplistic scientific psychological aspect of it, but at the same time, doing psychedelics yourself, I
Yeah.
can tell you that I've had what I thought were beings connecting to me under psychedelics.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't happen all the fucking time, but I've had, and let's go back to the DMT aspect of it. I definitely believe there's a connection to DMT and fucking and other entities that might be out there. I've had physical manifestations with this shit. And that's just a theory, but it always seems to go back to DMT being some sort of contact with something outside. Okay, I have no fucking proof. I only have fucking stories,
Hmm.
but I'll tell you that there's something to it. I mean, the things that I've experienced have been fucking. Unless I'm losing my mind completely, they
No.
seem to have purpose.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
I think that's yeah. Obviously, you know, we've talked about this before too. Like you said with the DMT stuff, like yeah, I mean, I think it does put you in a connection with parts of your brain, opens parts of your brain that aren't normally open to the subconscious, but also not just the subconscious, but to your environment itself around you. Now, then it becomes open to interpretation as to what that environment is, and if that's still part of your subconscious, or if you're projecting, or if you're perceiving what you previously didn't perceive before. I
I
don't
don't know. I think it's a little
know.
bit of both, man. I've had people who obsessed on shit and that took that into their trip, and then I've had just this ability that I felt like that eventually you just let go, and then you let your brain go where you want to. I still find it to be a shortcut,
Okay.
and what I would consider spirits on the other side have encouraged me to meditate. You know, whether they be archetypes or they be that are already inside me, or they be actual beings, I don't know. But I'll tell you that a few times it definitely felt like I was being contacted, and these were on pretty high dosages of stuff.
You know, I didn't get a chance to really talk about my very last, my actual first real breakthrough, and I won't go to the whole 10-minute thing, but just in a nutshell, man, I had my first breakthrough off of basically one hit. It was like 1.5 hit, but I'd come close. I had cool experiences, but man, I'll tell you, like, not like this breakthrough, because it was like I barely could put the pipe down. It happened so fast. I felt like I was abducted by aliens, man. That's the best way to describe it. I felt like I was being yanked in my body, like whoa, forcefully though. And it was
Yeah,
I was kind of like I tensed up and I just sat in my chair because I was scared. I wanted to take it like a champ, like I want to be like, like, oh yeah, but no, man, I was scared shitless because it was like paralysis.
that's what I'm saying. Every once in a while, it gets weird,
It was scary,
and
man.
the
I
more
wouldn't know
you
what to
do
expect.
it, the more you fucking get to a point. People say, "Well, you're just fucking insane. You're just insane." Yeah, but I'm talking to you coherently right now. I don't feel like
Yeah,
I'm fucking sitting on a corner, fucking looking at the sun.
yeah, right. Look at this.
No, man. Like, you want to hear about some of them? Like, this is why I'm saying that I think that there's all the parts of the puzzle of the left hand path I mean, in my opinion, it's balanced, not left hand or right hand path. You should try to embrace whatever you can, whatever proves to give you results, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Whatever gives you results.
That's why I don't prescribe specifically, like, say I'm a LaVeyan Satanist anymore, because now that I've been in communication with a lot of other occultists, over the last decade, which when I got on YouTube, I was like the only one, like, because I didn't get on the internet, right? So in my mind, like, I didn't have any of the contact I do, but now it's like I've been opening up so much more possibilities. I mean, I obviously still come from the LaVeyan's camp, but yeah, I take what I like from the LaVey school. I take what I like from this school, and that's it. Because now time will erode and fade as water will find its own level, basically. And I mean, people
it's whatever
hopefully
feels
continue to
comfortable with
evolve.
you.
Yeah, and you'll develop and evolve as a person, and so will your philosophy, and based on your experiences and your knowledge that you've accumulated over your experiences.
Yeah, for me, like the way it started to change for me a lot too is I think I started meditating more when I would do psychedelics. I started taking it seriously. I started when I realized that I was making these weird like breakthroughs or having these weird, strange experiences where it kind of took over. I started taking it more like ritual, trying to meditate with a purpose beforehand, and but there's parts of me that still think that, like, your beliefs will definitely shape some of the imagery or some of the things you wish to contact. But some, like I said, I had no like, it wasn't my intent to contact anything when it would happen.
Did it seem to work for you? Did you have like easier time breaking through, or did you have better experiences, more vivid experiences through meditation?
Well, I just had some really weird experiences. It just started to increase a little bit more. It started to get where like I started to be able to kind of feel like if I was if I was going to have an experience, I would start to feel like there was a ringing in my ears or a weird kind of feeling in my chest, like a vibrational, like I would know that there was something near me that was weird. It's gotten to that point. And I'm not sure whether I don't have a definite like I can't tell you, like, I need to meditate more is what I need to do. I need to meditate more and learn how to control it. But there's been points with it that like once I stepped into the DMT world, it changed my trips, but it also changed my awareness too. I felt like it was more outside of people more the more I started to experience more and more. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to sound like a crazy person at the same time, and I probably fucking do, but who cares?
You're fucking crazy already. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Oh man, it's interesting, man. It's weird that you have these experiences without being on DMT now. Right?
Can you have C5 encounters without going down the light path, right? Like we were talking about Stephen Greer too. I know, like you did a rant like through Messenger, and it was great. Like how you followed him and you liked what he was doing, but then he became this big hippie intergalactic like peace love motherfucker, right?
Where very
all
PC.
The aliens are peaceful, and it's right. ET phone home, and we're
free energy for everybody.
Yeah. What if that's a part of our reality though, man? We've had hints of it, like weird. I don't know about you, man, but like, have you noticed all the up and down fear shit? Like the minute you turn on the news, it's up and down fear shit, and it gets more extreme as it goes on.
Yeah, did 9/11
with the authoritarian bullshit,
like more and more, and terrorists.
Yeah, if it's not the coronavirus, it's 5G causing the coronavirus. If it ain't 5G, it's a biological weapon. If it's not a biological weapon,
terrorists.
It's fucking terrorists, or it's war with fucking China. If it's not war with fucking China,
maybe
aliens.
Aliens.
It's asteroids coming down to fall out. Locusts are taking over.
Global warming.
Global warming. Like, we're gonna live in fucking like fucking primitive weirdos, fucking back to the Stone Age with no food, starvation.
Absolutely. I think it's to keep things interesting for people, the masses, because if we stop worrying about shit, maybe we can start focusing on shit to
Well,
improve ourselves.
maybe we're
And
all
that's what they
lower
don't
brain,
want.
a lot of us that eat up this shit, right? Like maybe we're lower brain, you know? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe
I'm
monkey.
sorry, I'm going from left and right, man. Like,
Yeah,
I hope this is a good conversation. I hope I'm making sense.
you are. You
Get
are.
back on the topic. Left-hand path. All right.
Left-hand path, as opposed to the right-hand path. And what's the left-hand path's role today, as far as I don't know. But
I don't know.
for people that are watching, we didn't really plan this. We're just kind of off the cuff here, so.
It's a test of this new Zoom program. And
That's true, because we are going to be projecting live on Facebook next time we record.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is kind of a trial run to make sure that this new program is working correctly.
Just talking about weird shit, you
Yeah.
know, random stuff that like people who would not normally think about this would probably be on the.
We can start talking about
other path.
we can talk about our own personal sexual fetishes and deviances. No.
If you want to, I mean.
Oh wait, she's in the room. I forgot she's watching. Look, she can't fight back or talk shit.
That's good. Yeah. Whatever, yo, man.
Can't run either. She can't run either.
It's all good. No, I mean, I think that it shouldn't be rigid, you know, that there shouldn't be. I think that if it's going to be fluidic, it should be. But I think that all paths have even looking at the darker paths of people's, you know, spiritual outlook or a philosophical outlook of life, right? Like, I don't know, man. I lived there a lot when I wasn't sleeping right, and limited emotions, darker things, and to me, some of it feels like fucking couture, you know, just like fashion or the idea of. But some of it is really fucking deep, and I think its core value is just as valid as anything from the right hand path, right? Like, I really think that, I mean, despite the fucking political bullshit that the Satanic Temple sometimes does, I think the idea of the adversary being an archetype is actually pretty cool.
Okay.
And I'm a person who doesn't like communism or social justice shit, but like I've been thinking about it a lot. Like even LaVey's Trickster. Like, what other aspects can this path show itself in, or evolve into, even right or wrong, or whatever one you disagree with, man? At some point, you have to think that like some of the core idea of that archetype is pretty fucking cool, though.
Well, absolutely. Well, Satan in itself is the adversary, right? That's what it means. So, I mean, yeah, it is adversarial, and you know,
he's either the rebel or the light bringer, right? Like Lucifer is a different person.
For knowledge, bestows wisdom.
They connect them both together, right? You know.
Yeah, the whole Satan, I mean, has different faces, but none of them are hypocritical or contradict each other. I mean, they're just different shadows of the same face, which I think is, you know, I like the romanticized version of Satan as being Lucifer, you know, the kind of like almost a hopeless romantic, but the misunderstood good guy, or, you know, the light bearer, the bringer of wisdom and knowledge that bestowed man and, you know, brought him forward. Yeah, I like all that stuff. I also like,
you know, that there's those that like the destroyer aspect.
Exactly. Right? That's cool too. Yeah. You know, even the death metal version of Satan is just this raw, you know, that's kind of cool too. Just smashes, you know what I mean? Why not, right? He's at his place too.
Yeah. Or the manipulator. I haven't seen, I mean, you know, I think the Satanic Witch dealt with that. It was the manipulating aspect of
I think so. Yeah.
Manipulator.
Yeah. That's actually when you're talking about LaVey and hypnotism. If you look in the bibliography of the Satanic Witch, that's why I read a lot of my books, because I kind of ran out of occult books to read. Like, not that I've read a ton, but you know what I'm saying. I didn't know. I was like, okay, here's LaVey, here's some Crowley, you know. And then I was like, then I started reading a lot philosophical. But then I went to the Satanic Witch and started reading the bibliography books. There's a couple books in there about hypnotism. So it's like the bibliography is mainly about lesser magic stuff.
Well, I mean, that's just
all kinds of
one
stuff.
thing that people have tried. You know, I'm sure there's other things too. I mean,
No,
I just that's why, in my opinion, I like the idea of a left-hand path. Kind of like I like to explore more of this the shamanistic, psychedelic aspect of it.
for sure. I like that too, especially I think a lot of the American Indians, a lot of that stuff gets overlooked. I know the shaman thing goes beyond just this country, but
But they'd be considered a right-hand path in a lot of what they believed in, though.
think
Like
so. About
well, I mean, they were pagans according to the Catholic Church. If you look at anything that whenever the Catholic Church refers to anyone outside the church, it was be considered a pagan, right? So if
right.
you're a pagan, you're left-hand path, right? So I mean, but a lot of what they believed in a creator spirit. They believed in like animal archetypes, ancestral archetypes. They believed in the afterlife. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Uh, you know, other than imagery. I mean, there's a lot of similarities to like left hand path stuff. You know, earth and healing, but then pagan stuff goes right along with that too, which is,
Right.
I mean, if you're looking outside of left hand path, like earth and animals, and that's a part of what that believes in too. You know, I don't know. I think that at least what it did for me reading allowed me to open up my mind towards other parts of the occult, and even reading it, you know, even trying a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know.
Yeah, Nietzsche has I'm going to downphrase it because it's actually a longer quote, but basically, and one of the things that caught me in that famous quote of his was that, if you stare into the abyss too long, the abyss will stare back into you.
Well, what if the abyss is us? What if we are the gateway? Right? Really?
I think psychedelics can help you breach that faster. I think it's kind of cheating, but I think it's putting us on a level that may work, kind of accelerating. It's like nitrous for your car, right? You
Yeah.
might be able to reach top speed, in 20 seconds, but maybe if you could reach it in 2 seconds,
I
why
guess
not?
so. I guess so. I still think you should take it like a ritual, though. Like
Yeah,
I still think you should take it seriously because I think it'll hand
yeah.
your ass to you if you're not fucking careful with it. Because every once in a while, like I said, it gets weird.
Yeah,
Every once in a
I
while, it
like
gets
weird.
weird.
I like
Well,
weird,
yeah,
man.
but so you're a searcher. You're a psychonaut at this point yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the chicks I date. You can tell I like weird.
No, no, I dig you. I'm just saying, like the searcher, right? You're looking for
I'm
yourself
looking for
for
out of body
proof.
experience. I'm looking for
Yeah,
something that will knock me off my feet and change my reality forever.
yeah.
I'm looking to go as far out as I possibly can, but I'm hoping to still come back. So I have a lifeline, but I'm okay if that lifeline breaks.